Welcome to Restoration Park. This is one of our 5 main community gardens. Here community members can reserve a raised bed to use for their own purposes, to grow their own food. We can provide support in that. But we also grow some just community beds here. These are 3 of the Urban Greens beds that when we plant produce in them, we plant things throughout the summer, and then that's free for any community members to harvest and use. So today we're going to talk about cover cropping. So it's the end of the growing season, and I've pulled all of the plants that we had growing in these 3 community beds, and what we want to do is talk about in a raised bed specifically the importance of helping to maintain that soil structure and biology over the winter, and that's where cover crops come into play. So in a raised bed especially, we have to watch for soil compaction, and so using cover crops will help with that. And it's a pretty simple process. So as I said before, I've already pulled all of any weeds that we had and any plants that we had growing in here. And then I simply want to just smooth out the soil with a rake. So I'm just going to run through it with this rake, smooth it out. And then once I have it nice and smooth, I'm just going to sprinkle my cover crop seeds in. And then at the very end, we'll just kind of lightly rake them over again to make sure that they have good contact with the soil. So what are we using for our cover crop seeds? I have a couple of different mixes here. This is our experiment mix. We're always talking about how everything in the garden is an experiment. And so this is kind of a chaos mix of just all cold weather crops. So we have some peas, we have some radishes, we have some carrots, we have probably some turnips in there, maybe some beets. We just kind of threw a bunch of our seeds at the end of the season into a mix, and we want to sprinkle them in there and see how they do. So that's going to be one of the cover crop attempts that we make in this garden this year. And then you can join us at the beginning of the season next year to see how that turns out. And in the rest of the beds, I'm going to be using this more traditional cover crop mix. So this is a mixture of oats, some cereal rye, turnips and daikon radishes. And we like to use turnips and radishes because that also gives us something that we can harvest and give back to the community. And then this also has a little bit of buckwheat in it. So you would just go by the instructions for the weight of seeds per square footage. So these are 4 by 8 square foot garden beds, which we kind of figured out to be the equivalent of 1/4 cup. So if you have a similar size bed at home, you could use that as well, that measurement as well. So I'm just going to fill my 1/4 cup with seeds then. And you can use your hands or you can use a cup. And we just kind of want to evenly distribute our seeds throughout the bed. And like I said, once we do that, we can then lightly rake over top of them. And it's as simple as that. It's so easy, but it provides a huge benefit to your soil. And again, if it doesn't work, it's an experiment. It's worth a shot. So last step, just lightly rake them in. And if they got kind of, a lot of seeds got clumped in one area, you can use this step of the process to more evenly distribute them as well. And then we just water them and see what grows. So right now we're in a bit of a dry spell. We got a little bit of rain last night, but if I know it's not going to rain for a while, I'm going to want to keep watering these until they begin to sprout. We're hoping for a little bit of growth here at the end of the season, and then a lot of growth come spring.